This video is on how to change other people. Actually, it's somewhat, I'll just tell you right at the beginning, it's a trick question, because the truth is we can't actually change other people, but we can change the way we relate to other people. We can modify our own behavior, and the way we change other people is by changing ourselves. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I remember one time when I was a manager and we were working out a very important project that needed regulatory approvals and authorizations from a governmental agency. And so it was a long process, things weren't happening, things weren't moving, the paperwork was getting lost, paperwork was on someone's desk, and was getting very frustrating. It was holding everything up. It was an important part of the process, of the project we were working on. So I called the person who, in this agency, who had the authority, or who was higher up in this agency, and I was frustrated. It had taken way too long, and we had waited. It was slowing us down quite a bit, and I was quite adamant that, being an executive, that we needed to move on this, we needed to get approvals, what was the hold up, and I was quite assertive about getting this done, getting it through so we could move on. And the conversation just didn't go anywhere. I still remember it, even though it was years ago. It didn't go anywhere, and the more adamant I got on this is taking too long and what's the hold up, the more I got the regulatory spiel and that we'll let you know, and I don't know what the hold up is, and we just have to follow our regulations. And I was hitting a stone wall, and the more we were butting heads on the phone, and I could tell by that person's tone of voice that it wasn't working out. I wasn't making any progress, and I remember consciously making the decision, I need to calm down. I need to not be so adamant and assertive, argumentative. I need to change my approach. And I made that conscious decision in the middle of this conversation that, all right, I switched to, I know that you have a lot going on. I know that your organization is busy. There must be a lot of people who have things that need to be done. And I began to respect that person's responsibilities and the requirements of their job, and just express the frustration on our part that this was an important project to us, and it was discouraging to wait so long. Change the tone of the entire conversation, and what happened in a few minutes' time is this person, their voice, you can listen in the voice, the tone of her voice began to change too. And I changed to a respectful attitude, and realizing how important her job was. And I wasn't trying to be manipulative, and I wasn't trying to be fake. I was just changing the way I was looking at it, that she had her requirements too, and her responsibilities. And all of a sudden the person said, well, let me look into it. Hold on just a second and I'll see what I can do. Which surprised me, because a few minutes before that, this was not going anywhere at all. We were at loggerheads. Well, she comes back on the phone in about 2 minutes. And she was able to cut some red tape. She was able to talk to someone, pull some strings. And within a 24-hour period, make those authorizations happen. I don't think that would have happened unless I would have changed my attitude, changed my behavior, changed my approach. So my point of this is, the typical thing we do when what we're doing isn't working, particularly like this, when we're trying to get something accomplished, we're trying to get an approval, we're trying to get a service, we're trying to get some, is when it isn't working, we double down on what we're doing. We double our energy, we do the same thing, but we just do it more intensely. That's not a very good approach. It can work, it does work at times. We might frighten people into doing what we want done. But often if we change our approach to be more constructive, more positive, and more supportive, we're, I believe, more apt to get progress faster. And I learned that lesson, and over the years, quite frankly, I can think of other situations in a managerial environment where things were not moving as fast as I wanted, and the person that I needed to work with had the power, had the authority to make something happen, to make approvals happen, to make the project move forward or not, depending on what their decisions were. And in more than one occasion, I saw that by changing my attitude, by changing my approach, my behavior, I was able to change that person's approach, that person's behavior. So if we want to change other people, there's a limit to that. If someone is, for example, a paranoid schizophrenic, you're not going to change their behavior by just deciding to talk nice to them. There's practical common sense limits to what I'm talking about. But in a normal situation, if we want people to be different, and we want, even in our family, people to behave differently toward us, the way we do that is take a look at our own behavior, take a look at what we're doing, and ask ourselves, is there some other way I could approach this? Is there some way I can change that can cause a change in the other person's behavior, the way they react to us? So think about it that way. You can change other people, but you do it through changing yourself. So think about it and try it in some small way and see if it doesn't work for you.